right, everybody. Thanks for joining this afternoon. First off, my name is Joe Costello. I'm the art director here at Great Dane Graphics, and we're going to go over working with artwork for screen printing today. First, we'll give a little overview of what we do here at Great Dane Graphics and our different types of artwork, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. So to begin with, Great Dane Graphics here, we offer a subscription-based stock art service, but it's not just regular stock art. We offer high resolution, high detail graphics, like as you can see down here. But that's the best part is we also offer all our graphics in production-ready files. So whether you're screen printing, print cutting, vinyl cutting, we offer it in all those modes. We put out new artwork every Tuesday. So this is the new ones for this week down here. We'll go ahead and go check the, let's put in our search engine here real quick. We'll pull up an image. So this is one of our images here. It shows up, this is the default image, which would be the digital printing image. These are the various types of file formats we offer that you can download. We'll just start at the top here. First, we got our digital file. This would be for dye sublimation, direct-to-garment, pretty much like even if you're doing flyers, business cards, web design, this would be your file to use. We are actually going to be using this file today too for the screen printing process, but I'll get in that a little bit later on. This is our print cutting file. As you can see, this has got it's got a bleed around it for anybody who does print cutting out there, so you can get any white lines. Then we've got our screen print color. We're going to be working with this one today. Let's pull up the details on it. If you check the details, it'll tell you exactly what type of file it is. It tells you how many colors it's going to be on each shirt, and therefore you know what you're dealing with there. But actually, these are the actual colors if you're printing it this way. This is another thing we're going to get in later on. I'm going to show you how to, you can actually even print this as a 1 or 2 color, and I'll show you examples of that. And you can do that with any of our screen print images. This would be this is laser inkjet printing, like a Yoki machine for transfers, give them a hard edge. We're going to be working with this one too. This is vector. This is the vector version of the image. And this is more of your traditional clip art stuff, black line, nodes, you know, that kind of thing. Then we got our vinyl cut, detailed, and then we have a vinyl cut basic. That's because with vinyl cutting, you can't, the basic, they're sized differently. The detailed is for a larger version, like 10 inches by 10 inches. The basic is a smaller version, it'd be like 3.5 inches. So we have to take a bunch of the detail out. But they are designed to be easy to weed, unlike this would be kind of a bit of a nightmare to weed. There'd be a lot of pull in here. These are a lot easier. So also too, real quick with the images too, you can have we do have a designer on the site that if you have one of those clients where you're just not understanding what it is they want to do, you can have them show you very easily. You can resize the image, you know, put in your text, pick a font, go athletic, size it up. You can colorize it, put in a solid color or a gradient. You can also add little effects in here as well. And then you can set it behind it. And then you can download it. Downloads as a PDF or PNG. This would be mainly used like digital printers would use these mainly. Or like I said, you could use it where your client can kind of give you a general idea of what they're looking for. So we'll go ahead and close that. Now, when our files download, as you can see, there's multiple types of files for some of these, like CDRs, EPSs, because we have to make these available so that people can use them on CorelDRAW or Illustrator, and back and forth. So when they download, we're going to use a different image for the day. You know what? I don't want to. Let's just click digital, just because in our search engine, actually that's a good thing to show. In our search engine, you can narrow things down. The reason there's so multiple versions is we haven't gotten specific on what type of football. Are we just looking for print cut? So over here, you can come over here and click whatever version is you're looking for. Just to find the image, I'm just going to click digital printing. Condenses it down. So now we're just looking at one instead of multiples of each. Let's download this one we're going to use today to do our layout. And one thing, I'm actually going to be downloading the digital print version, the screen print color version, and the screen print black line, because we're going to get into the difference between this and this. and I'll explain why we're going to download this one too later. So we're going to go ahead, when we download the artwork, we get 200 downloads a month, so it takes one of our downloads away. Now, depending on what kind of internet browser you're using, they all kind of download differently. I always mention this because it's important, because we do get calls about this quite a bit, because you need to pay attention to where you're downloading to. I'm using Internet Explorer right now, so I'm going to click, it always comes up with an option to save as, or cancel, so I'm going to go save as, and then I'm going to make sure I know where it's going. I have it going to my desktop, so that's good, so I click save. If you're using other web browsers, especially with a PC, like Firefox or Google Chrome, you need to, usually they have defaults already set, and there's a, so let's close this thing, open up a file, I want to show you what I'm talking about. Typically their defaults are set to go to your downloads folder. If it's not downloading here, you need to pay attention when you download where it's going, because we have no control over that. It's whatever default is set on your PC. So let's go back and download the other files we need. Oh, really quick, we are, for you guys that came and took this class, I'll show this real quick. We are offering 1 free month on our site, so that you can, if you want to write this code down, I'll leave it up for a few seconds here, where you can go to the site and you can download up to 200 images on us and give it a try. And, you know, if you like it, stay on. It's only $18.99 a month. So, you know, it's pretty cheap to get access to all this artwork and to get constant new artwork. We're actually going to be adding more features coming up here soon as well. So I'll give you this a little bit here to, so you guys can write this down. And I'll show it again at the end of the class as well. All right, let's go back and continue down. Okay, we downloaded the digital. Let's get the screen print color version. Download. Save as. Click save. Close that window. We're going to go get the black line vector version. There's one more image. Oh, why does it ask me save as again? I thought we already saved it. I don't know why it's cancel. Close that. All right. I'm going to get one more image here because I do want to show you how you can change colors in CorelDRAW. So I need something that's just a base color. It's got, yeah, this will work. Actually, that's an old image. I don't want to use that one. And we can use the bear. I'm just going to download the detailed version. Click save. All right. Okay, so now we can get out of this. All right, so as you can see, my file's downloaded here on my desktop. This little zipper thing on the side, it means these are zip files. Again, this is something I always go over in every class when we're dealing with this, because it is another common issue we get. There are people out there who are not familiar with zip files, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, so I like to explain it and why we use zip files. So the best way to compare it, I like to tell people, is like a zip file. It's like a suitcase. You know, when you're going on vacation or traveling, you're not just going to grab your clothes out of your dresser, hold them, and go off to the airport. I mean, you're going to lose the clothes, you're going to get snagged on something. It's just not an efficient way. So you pack it up in a suitcase to protect them, and you could get more stuff in there and check it on the plane, and there you go. No different than a zip file. We use zip files to compress, to make the files smaller. We use them to travel, you know, through the internet, so that they stay protected and the file doesn't get corrupted, going from, you know, zipping back and forth. So, like a suitcase, though, with a zip file, you do need to unzip them, and there are a couple of things. I know you know, some people, you guys like to use, you're still on older versions of Windows, so I'm going to explain how to do it on the current and an older. On an older version, typically what you need to do is just need to right-click and hit extract, and it'll pull it out, and you can assign it where. But on newer versions of Windows, like I'm on an updated version of Windows, all I really need to do is just double-click it, shows me what's in there, and I can drag the file out onto my desktop, close it, and I can actually go ahead and trash it. So just double-click. Now, if you're on a super old version of Windows, and like a super older one will not even have the extract feature, there's zip programs out there called like JZip that you can use to unzip files and things like that. So this is our screen print folder. There we go, close that one. grab the vector file. And here's the other one. All right, perfect. Okay, so where to begin with the screen print file? So I know we downloaded the, let's move him down here just so we don't get lost. So I downloaded the screen print folder, and we've got 3 different files here. So what I'm going to do is in the screen print folder first, just to let you know, is it is an EPS file, but it's not a vector image. This is called, it's a DCS2 file. It's called Desktop Color Separations. So it is a form of an EPS file, but it's so that a vector program like CorelDRAW and Illustrator can see the spot colors. The image itself is not vector. It's just allowing it to see the spot colors. In the folder, every image comes with a print spec sheet. This is your cookbook. It tells you exactly how many colors, what colors to use, your mesh counts, your screen angles, your line, everything, so you get a perfect print. We take all the guesswork out. You're not going to have to worry about a thing. We did all the hard stuff, separating and taking it apart, and we did all that. So you can consult that to get your PMS tones and everything else. Pretty much, I will say this, the mesh, the screen out, line screen is going to be the same for every image. We recommend a 156 mesh for your base, 230s for everything else. We find that you get the most consistent results with those meshes and these angles and line. 61 angle, 45 line, elliptical dot. We strongly recommend an elliptical dot. So we can go ahead and close out of that. So right now, I'm going to open up, let's take a look at the vector version first. I'm going to open my CorelDRAW. So because when it comes to screen printing, there's 2 types of images in this world. There's raster and there's vector. So vector, we'll go ahead and grab the screen print line. I know it is an AI file. I'm on a current version of Corel. It can open an AI file. So as you know, a vector drawing is just simply, let's get my object manager up because I like to, yeah. So it's made out of nodes, tiny little dots that connect together to form a shape. Like this black is one whole shape. So I'm going to go ahead and just merge them all together real quick here, just because it's easier to show. So load that. Oops, didn't want to do that. Let's weld these together. So now vector, you guys, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with how this goes. You can create your spot colors, which if I was actually screen printing this, I would actually create my spot colors. And again, this is something I recommend because before I start changing and dressing it up and putting color all over the place, because then you're just going to be doubling up your workload. So you might as well just create the spot colors you want to use from the jump. So to do that, we're going to go to Window, Color Palettes, Palette Editor. In your document palette, we're just going to go ahead and click Add Color. I actually only need 2. I want a red. Click OK. And right now, it's a process color. So as long as it's selected, I'm going to click this drop-down window here and go to Spot. And then this white little dot pops up in here, and that's saying that this is a spot color. So I'm going to add one more color. And here, I want a yellow, really yellow. Click OK, and then I'm going to make that a spot as well, and click OK. So as you can see, my document palette, it's not over here, it's down here. I like to have it down wherever you like your palette it is. If you do not see your document palette, which sometimes happens, you want to go to your palette manager, which is Window, Dockers, Color Palette Manager. I already have it checked. It's right there in the tab, but click it and then the palette manager pops up. Document palette is at the top. If you don't see it in this window, it's usually because your eyeball is turned off. Well, on current versions, now the eyeball doesn't blink, but on older versions it blinked. So you just want to turn it back on so you get your spot colors here. So with a vector version, I'm just going to fill this black actually with color real quick. You want to make sure you use your spot colors. So I'm just going to fill it with a quick gradient here. And we can use the eyedropper and just select red or not. Maybe I didn't click on it. There we go. And then let's go back. Make it yellow. Yeah, turn it a little bit so it's more angled. This over here is your angle, allows you to adjust it. Click OK. Now if we're going on a white shirt, this is ready to print right now. So, you know, it's spot color, done, ready to rock and roll. If we were printing, if we're going on a colored shirt or a black shirt, we'd obviously have to put a base white on this, but I'm not going to get into doing that on this. I'll do that in the other image. So now as I said, this is a vector version, simple, we're all similar, we all know how to use these. So I'm going to go ahead and close it there. I'll just start a new file, click OK. Now a raster image, on the other hand, you need to import in. Sorry, I was getting my Illustrator terminology mixed up with Corel. We need to import that in here. And raster image is an image base is made up of, let's import the digital one first. Import, and let's go grab our digital version. And see, this is a raster version. This is a raster image. What it is it's made up of pixels, tiny little squares. Oh, you're not going to see it on this. I should have opened it up. Oh, yeah, you can. There you go. Tiny little squares of color that sit next to each other to, you know, to create a larger image. So if we zoom back out, that's how we're able to get all the details. Like me and my guys, we're painters, illustrators. Like we start off by drawing these in pencil, and then we paint them like, you know, Bob Ross used to do. Happy little cloud, happy little tree. So these are paintings. So when you're screen printing, these are handled differently, obviously, than vector. Vector, you can't achieve the detail with vector. You can get, I've seen some really good artists do some nice vector stuff, absolutely, but they can never, it just can't achieve this kind of detail because of the pixels. But, oh, I'm sorry guys, I thought I had my sound off for everything. So we have, so we go back to the vector version. Like I said, it was simple, and then, but to screen print this, the problem we run into is you just can't bring it in, pop it into CorelDRAW, and it separates it. We have to pull the colors apart. In the old days, what they would do is a lot of people would do Photoshop, and there's still a lot of people who do it in Photoshop. They'll pull like the red channel, the yellow channel, the black channel, the white channel, but it took forever to do. It's a long process to go that route. We strongly recommend investing in separation software if you're going to be using raster images of your own. Like I said, we've already got it separated for you, and and it's done. You don't need to worry about it. But if you run into, or somebody comes in with a picture of their grandmother and is like, hey, we're doing a family reunion, can you put her on a shirt for me? I strongly recommend, if you have enough work for it, get the program we use. It's called Separation Studio. That's what we use to separate all our images so that they're ready to go for you. So, all right, so the reason I imported the digital image right now is well, okay, let me import in, and you'll see the difference side by side. Import. And we're going to go through this process one more time, but I just want to show you what they look like. Did I not? Oh, I left it in the folder. Okay. Okay, this is why. Obviously, before you're done with a design, before you go to print, you're going to want, this is not what you're going to want to show your client. This image is totally fine. I know it looks washed out. I know that's just the way Corel is trying to see the separations, but the separations are fine. I guarantee if I printed this to film and screen printed this right now as is, it will look like this on the right-hand side here. So don't worry about it, but obviously it's not something you can show your client. So what I always do, my work process is, let me delete the screen print, the separated file, is I like to work with the digital file first when I'm making my layout. And that way, you know, the client, so I can send it to the client so he can you know, check it out if he likes the proof. Then we'll use the separated file, and we'll get to that next step. First off, we're going to create ourselves a nice design here. So just sizing it up. Let's add some type here. Jackson High. We've been doing a series of these videos, and we've pretty much been using the same kind of layout just so you can see all the different versions. If you go back and look at some of the other ones we did, like on print cutting and vinyl cutting, on how you can use the different files and different versions for numerous types of jobs. So, all right, so I need to bring up, I'm just not going to leave it as is. I want to size it, but I'm not even going to use this font. So There's one. Yeah, a nice thick font is good for high schools. So, and then I'm going to bring up, I think I have it over, yeah, the text properties tool. So that would be, you know, under Dockers again, text, you know, text properties. But I've already got it over here, so I'm just going to click it. So I'm going to, first things first is I'm going to justify it to the right here. Perfect. And I'm going to kind of resize a little bit. Let's go a little bit more. All right. And then two, I get really picky. So this is the designer in me. I get picky about, you know, spacing between letters. Like I think these are all a little too far apart. I don't like how far away high is from Jackson. So I'm going over here and I'm going to use the kerning to adjust. So you can sit there and play with it. One way to do it is you can just tap the arrow up and see where it goes, tap the arrow down. I kind of like this method is if you put your cursor right in between the two arrows, you can just click and hold it and then just move up and down and like get it right where you want it. And right about there is good. And then here's the spacing, line spacing, same thing. Click in the middle and you can adjust it. Yeah, there's good. Now, I am not going to be pre-making spot colors unlike I did with the vector version. Reason being is once I import in my screen print, it's going to import in with spot colors, and I'm going to refill the type with those spot colors so everything prints out on the same film. You don't want to be adding these and have their own spot colors, and we import in the separated file, and then you're also having like two reds, two base whites. You don't want to do all that mess. So, all right, so let's go ahead and, sorry, I'm going to fill this. We're going to use this red for now, and then we're going to go ahead and give it an outline. Double click in there. Let's start at 2 points. Select our color from our palette here. Let's go to the yellow. Here, click OK. All right, then we're going to jazz it. Let's zoom in because I want to add the word tiger, but I'm going to add a little more element to the design to make it stand out a bit more. So we're going to add some bars in here. So I don't want it too big. So I'll go ahead and add that. We don't need a line on it, so we'll double click here. Drop the arrow, click none, click OK, and then we'll just fill it with the same yellow. Oh, it's already in my document palette. We can just do this. There we go. And then instead of recreate, actually let's line this up a bit better with the, so all right, so when you're moving stuff around in here, if you want, like right now, I would just want to move this down, not over, just straight down. So instead of just like winging it like this and trying to eyeball it, I'm going to hit Control-Z to go back. If you click on it and then hold your Shift key down, it'll keep it in a vertical, horizontal, straight, so you can move it without having to worry about being off at all. So right about there is good. And then we're going to duplicate it. So let's go Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste, and we'll bring this down. There we go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to delete that because I want that square a little bit thicker. I'll come back here, just pull this down a little bit thicker. Oh, it's jutting around on me. All right, now we'll go Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. Hold my Shift key. Bring it down. There we go. Let's add some type in there. I'll put tigers. And I'm actually going to make tigers a different font. Here's basically, when it comes to design principles, this is a good rule of thumb. You can use more than one type of font when you're designing something, but I never recommend going more than 2 different types of fonts. Like I'm using 2 different types of fonts here. Let's select a different one than that. Let's do Impact. Yeah. Because I don't want it to read Jackson Tigers High. I want it, the different font kind of helps the eye see that, hey, that's a different word. It should be read different, like Jackson High Tigers. So we're going to go ahead and fill it with yellow. And we'll give it a red outline, 1 point. Grab the red, click OK, click OK. Let's make these red too. There we go, that's better. All right, so now I kind of, there's a little bit more we're going to do to it, but the first thing I want to do, just because it makes things easier, is the type is all still a type layer. I want to convert these to curves. It makes it easier to use if you were doing certain types of manipulation and things like that. We don't really necessarily need to leave this as a type. So simply click on the type, nope, not more than once, right click, and come down to convert to curves. And now it's nodes. You can see it happen. You can see up here in our object manager. Click on tigers, click right, and we're going to convert to curves. And then let's do this. Oops, did not want to grab that. Let's just grab our curves, and we're going to skew it. So to skew it, just to give it a little, extra oomph to it, I want to skew it up vertically where the back end is coming up that way. So you can go to Object, Transformations, Skew. Oh, it looks like I already had it down there, so I got to go back and do that again. Object Transformations, Skew. There we go. And we can, we can do the same thing, go like this, but you got to click the Apply button. Oop, way too much. So Control Z to undo. And let's try it at 10, and then hit Apply. Undo. Let's try 14. That's better. Then we can resize it however we want. All right, so you can see it better. And then now this is what's great to go off to approval. So your file, you take it, you export it as a JPEG, you send it off to your client, they approve it, now you're ready to go to press. So here's where things turn. So in a good way. Right now we could just click this digital image, delete it, import in the separated file, and go from there. That's not what I'm going to do. What I always strongly recommend people do is create something like this. I have got a file on my desktop here called Screen Print Reg Template. This is a template that I made that I always use for screen printing that I pull up when I'm going to be using a pre-separated file or anything like that. So let's go ahead and open it and I can show you why. Screen Print Template. This is a template ready to go for my film. I've got colors up here so we can fill those so you know what the film is. I've got my registration marks filled with registration color, which is a black that was, if you mark something as a registration black, it will print on every piece of film. It's not just going to print on the black film. It will print on every piece of film, which is what you want with the registration marks. To find registration color, you just simply need to click on whatever object you want to fill with that color and simply come down to your pen tool and then go to the drop-down color. Right now I already have it filled, obviously, but you'll hit this list and it'll be at the very bottom. Just click registration color and click OK. I strongly recommend creating yourself something like this, because it's just going to make your life easier than even if you're doing a vector image, then coming in and having to create registration marks every time. It's a hassle. You do it once, create yourself a template like this, and you're done. Just get your nose on there. We put this on here so we can see the dots and check them, depending on how, for different screens. So with this open, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my original file, and I'm going to move this out of the way just because I don't want to accidentally grab it, because I don't care, or I can delete it even. But I'm going to grab the type, and then I'm going to edit, copy. I'm going to come back to my template, go edit, paste. I'm just going to leave it there for right now. So now I want to bring in our separated file. So to do that, there's a few steps you have to do to get the spot colors to come in. There's one thing about CorelDRAW I need to let you know too when it comes to using DCS2 files when you're bringing the separations in. If, let's say you're on your third job of the day, like you've already printed, you've been in Corel all day, you've printed 2 jobs out already, you really need to make sure that you're going to have to shut Corel down and open it again before you do the next one. The reason being, I'll tell you the reason why when we start bringing in the spot colors. So let's go File, Import. Select our screen print file, click Import, and then this window pops up. Importing an EPS. If this was your first time importing an EPS file, your natural instinct is going to go import as editable, and you click because you're like, I want to edit it, I want to add type to it, I want to mess with it. Resist that urge. And you can, on our website too, you can download the instructions that I'm walking through you here as well on how to properly bring the image in. And it'll tell you not to click that as well. But you want to place as encapsulated postscript. Make sure that's clicked. Otherwise, if you click this, it comes in looking all gray, and you're like, why? It's not going to work for you. You want to place as encapsulated postscript. Click OK. And then now you can click and drag it out if you want to size it, or you can just single click it and it'll come in at size. I'm going to click and drag because I kind of wondered about the size of the size of the word. Okay, now you can see as it's sitting on top of the Jackson High here, it does have this big white box around it. Completely normal. That's going to happen. So let's say if you had, it doesn't print this white box. So let's say you had something tucked underneath it. Don't worry about it. You showed your client the one we created over here with the digital version. They approved it. This is in-house. If it's looking like that, it's not going to print it. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and print it. But for this instance, I actually want the Jackson in front just so I can see it and for the purpose of the class. So I'm going to go to Object Manager. I'm going to move this thing down. So there we can see it now. All right, so that's better. And I'm going to go ahead and position it by selecting all of it. I'm going to put it up as high as you can, and then you can bring your registration mark in so you can cut the film off if you want. So now I need to get my spot colors of this separation to show up. To do that, you're going to go to File, Print. And before I continue, another note for older Corel users. If you're using something older than Corel, I think this feature came in 6x6. I want to say, I could be wrong on that one, but I definitely know for 7 and 8, it's different from the older versions. The older versions, all you have to do is click Print, and you'll sit on this window, and a window will appear that you'll see soon here. If you're on Corel 6 to 8, you're going to have to go click the Color tab, click Print Separations, and then give it a second. See, this window just popped up. It says there is an EPS or duotone file in this document that references an ink called One Base White. This ink was not found in any of the existing spot color palettes. It has been added to the user-defined inks palette. This window is going to pop up for every color. It's basically Corel saying, hey, I'm seeing the spot color in the image. I'm seeing this spot color in the image. I'm seeing this spot color in the image. So you just sit there and click OK. OK. So for each color. So if there's 5 colors, you're going to click 5 of these. If there's 4 colors, you're going to click 4 of these. So we're going to click OK, 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 and we're done. So now we're going to cancel out of this window. And before we start colorizing, I'm going to come back to what I said earlier. If you've done this, if you're doing multiple jobs in the day, if you don't shut Corel down completely and then restart it, what would have happened here is that those windows wouldn't have popped up, and my spot colors would not have popped up in my document palette. I don't know why. It's a fault in Corel. They obviously haven't fixed it. It's been that way since day one. So it's just something to keep in mind that if you're doing like multiple of these type of files. So all right. So right now I need to fill my cut type with the same spot colors that came in. So we just need to go ahead and start selecting them, and then fill it with the same red, and then we'll go to our stroke, fill it with the same yellow. Just grab the eyedropper. Click OK. Let's select our bars here. And there's one more thing we're going to do to these bars too. So, oh wait, I don't need to use the eyedropper for that one. Just click that, and then we'll double click on the line. And I'm adding a 0.5 stroke around the bars. And the reason will be when it comes out when we create our base white for the type. So we need to go to 0.5, eyedropper, and select the same red. Select OK. Select the tigers. Fill it with yellow. Select the red. Fill the outline with red. Click OK. Now if we're going on a white shirt right now, we're good to go. You could go right to print right now. But if you're going on a colored or black shirt, you need to create a base white. Not for our image. Our image already has a base white. You can see it down here. It goes base, black, red, orange, yellow, highlight white. This actually populates in. That is your print order. So the base and the highlight white, you can tell that we've got the base is like this little itty bitty off blue, and the highlight white, we have it like this slightly off yellow. We always, base whites, we always create, you need to use it as a color for your base white. Don't just make it white. For some reason, there's issues when it's printing or reading a solid white. So when if I'm doing something like this where I'm bringing in a raster image, I'm going to use the same base white that this is, which is fine. If I'm doing a vector image and I'm creating a base white, I'll go in and create that spot color. The color I normally like to use is hot pink because there's not very often I have to use hot pink in an image, so that's usually the one I create. So let's go back here real quick. So now we need to create our base white for the Jackson High Tigers and the bars. So we'll go ahead and click on Jackson High, click Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste, and it pastes it right on front, and then we're going to fill it with the base white. Click the fill. Now the stroke, we're going to adjust the stroke. It's 2 points now, which is the yellow stroke, but we're going to bring that down to 1.5. The reason being is you want the color to overlap your base white by a little bit. Otherwise, if they're the equal amount, you could have some white peeking out here if it's not 100% perfectly registered. So this way, if it's not perfectly registered, we'll zoom in close so you can see. If it's not perfectly registered, it's either way, up, down, side to side, the color is going to come over the edge of the base white. So then you don't have to worry about white peeking out anywhere. So you want to have your base white a 0.5 smaller than what's going to be going on top of it. Now, because this is a base white too, and it's colors on top of colors, we do need to overprint this. So let me zoom back out. And because right now, if we went to print, this base white is going to knock out of the object down there, and all we're going to get is this base white will be on its screen, and then we're going to have just this thin line of yellow. There won't be the red and the type. So we want to overprint it. So you want to go to, with your base selected, go to Object, Overprint Fill, and because it does have a stroke on it, you're going to go Overprint Outline. This way is what you're telling the printer to do is that, yes, I need this base printed on the film, but I also need everything underneath it printed on its film. So let's go back. Let's create our base for the bars. And edit, copy, edit, paste, and then we'll simply fill it with our base. And then we just need to put this to none because that was the whole reason we didn't need an outline in the red. We just added the 0.5 so that we could have our base. So we go to none, click OK, and then you can see it peeking around the side there. So let's click Tigers, edit, copy, edit, paste, and fill it. Then let's go to our line. It's 1 point, so we just need to go down to 0.5. Select our base, click OK. Oh, and I know I forgot to do, hold on, the rectangles. I forgot to overprint fill. So Object, Overprint Fill, Object, Overprint Outline, and we're good to go to print. So this is ready to go to print into your films. But here's a couple things. When you go to print, you're just going to go to File, Print, and this is something we get a lot of calls on with Corel. So normally in Corel, if it was a typical vector program, like here, let's cancel out of this. We can go here to the vector version, File, Print, go to Print Separations, Print Preview. It'll show us each individual color on its own screen in the Print Preview window. When you're using raster artwork that's already separated, let's close the print window, close that, we'll go back. Go to File, Print. This is something we get a lot of calls on too. So we're going to go to, normally what you need to be printing to, well, I'll get that in a second. Let me just focus on the colors. So let's go to Colors, Print Separations. And then if you click Print Preview, here's where we get the call. Oh, we didn't take out that. So there you go. All my colors look the same of the raster image. This looks the same on the red page as it does on the highlight page or the yellow page. Well, you can see the type is different. So that's normal. This is 100% normal. This is another thing they've never fixed. This is pretty much with any version of CorelDRAW you're going to be using, you're going to see the same thing on every page, so don't worry about it. I don't even bother going to the print preview window because of that. So we're going to go back here. What I normally do just to make sure everything's there is I'll go to separations and see here it lists out all my colors. And then you want to go in here and turn off the ones you're not using. So right now I just have the ones that came in base, black, red. So now when I'm ready to go print, here's the thing with halftone dots. If you are printing halftones, which raster is, it has to be halftone dots. That's how it's separated, so when the colors sit next to each other, boom, you get your image. You need a RIP software if you're printing to a if you're printing to an inkjet printer. There are laser printers out there that have what we call PostScript on them that can print halftone dots, you know, like printing on vellum and things like that. We don't have a list of which ones don't or don't, so I'm sorry, there's just too many of them out there to say, hey, no, this laser print will do it, this laser printer will do it. You'll just have to investigate that when you're purchasing your printer if you decide to go that route. Personally, I prefer inkjet because I get better screens, better dot gain, you know, everything. They hold better because it's blacker. I mean, using vellum, we used to use that all the time back in the day. But the problem was in a laser printer, it would sometimes heat up and shrink, and then you'd be down on press, and you're like, okay, why is this not registering? And it's because the vellum got too hot and it shrank a little bit, and it didn't work. So, but with an inkjet comes a RIP software. We do get this question a lot too at the shows when we're talking about separation software and RIP software. They are two totally different things. The separation software pulls an image like this apart. RIP software is merely a translator from your computer to your most common inkjet use is usually an Epson, to your Epson. Right now, if you had an inkjet and your computer connected to each other, it's like one speaking German, the other speaks Chinese, and they don't understand. The computer's telling it to print these dots in this way. It's not understanding it. So you need a RIP software is basically the translator in between the two. So I don't have AccuRip here. I don't have a printer connected to this, but I would normally select AccuRip is the RIP I normally use, and then hit print, and the file goes, whoosh, zips right off to AccuRip, where AccuRip sees the individual colors and starts printing things out. So that's pretty much what you're going to do. Now, the cool thing about our artwork, I mentioned this earlier, is this. Now, as you can see down here, this shirt's going to be we got a base of black, we got 6 colors if this is going on a colored shirt, which, yeah, it still looks great at 6 colors, and it looks fantastic, the detail's all there, everything's awesome. But the problem is I'm sure you guys don't have a lot of clients who want to pay for 6 colors. So what you can do is this. Every single Great Dane graphic image, every single one. Let me start a new document because PCs don't have like this nice ability that when you click on an image on your desktop and hit spacebar, it'll show you a larger version. So I got to import these things in. So I'm going to import these couple of these images. You can see every single one of our not print spec sheets, I'm sorry. Our images can be printed as a 1 color or a 2 color. Like here's 1, 2. This is a full color example of our Tiger basketball design you saw earlier. This is screen printed for, I think he came to like 5 colors. Now, let me import. This is 2 colors. Oh no, actually this one would be more. This one is more of a duotone. It's that you'd have the purple, the white, base white, the black, and the highlight. So this would be like a 4 colors, and then this one should be the 1 color. Nope, picked the wrong one again. Sorry. And this is the 1 color. That's 1 screen, and you still get all that detail. I'll show you another example too. I'll bring in one more real quick here. Cobra T. This is a 1 color as well on a black. And then we'll import this one. This one's full color. And then there's a 2 color one. and that's 2 colors. That's just a black and a white. So if you guys have a pen and handy next to you right now, I'm going to tell you the formula on how you decide how do you do that. Because you don't need to be messing with it. You know, you don't need to be taking any of these spot colors out if you wanted to print this as a 1 color or anything like that. Just leave it, bring it in like you would treat it here. So you would basically, what I would do is I was going to do this as a 1 color. When I'm ready to go to print, I'm just going to go under the separation. No, it's still not clicked. Okay. Under my separations, I'm just going to turn off the ones I'm not going to use. So here's what you're going to want to write down for a formula, for basic formula. If you are wanting to print any of these images as a 1 or 2 color design on a dark shirt, for the 1 color, I recommend, oops, let's hit cancel. I recommend using either the base white for the 1 color. I pretty much always would use the base white. This one, sorry, let me move him out of the way. Like this one, I know this is brighter than that one. We used actually the highlight white on this one, so it has a more faded look, and we use a little bit different color. Think about the color shirt you're going on even too. Like if I'm doing a 1 color and I kind of want to get this duotone look, what I would use is still the base white, but maybe I'd use like a slightly off green than that. So you think about the shirt color. Again, if you're going on a dark colored shirt and you want to do 2 colors like this, you're going to want to use the base white and more times than not the black. But if you want to get something more duotone-y or mess with a little bit, you could use the highlight white. You want to pick something that's got color, like there's going to be information all over it. So it's like your black there's going to be usually black information all over an image. There's usually, there's going to be base white all over the image, and there's usually going to be the highlight white all over the image. If you're going on a white shirt, it's pretty much the reverse. It's, you're going to use your black if you're doing 1 color, and you're going to use your base white and black if you're doing the 2 color. So you can play with it. It's really easy to do in Illustrator to see the different colors and mess with it. Not so much in CorelDRAW, but I can't really do much about that. Real quickly here, because yeah, we're getting down to it. There's one thing too that we get asked as well about these images. It's like, well, what about changing the colors? So you don't have to worry about changing colors at this stage when you're ready to print, because you're never going to change the colors on the screen print version here. So this is where to just show your client, like, hey, here's what your team would look like, where is this color. You can do that all in CorelDRAW now if you've got a more current version like X6 through X8. Let's go ahead and we'll delete this information here, and I'll show you how you can do that real quick. So let's just delete everything here. And let's go File, Import, and we'll import in that bear we downloaded too. Let's go down to, no, it wasn't FB, EB, yeah, there he is. So bring this bear in. So yeah, obviously not every school's colors are blue, so you're going to want to change it for the preview. You're going to, again, it's only going to be the digital one you're going to change the color for, so you can do it. There's 2 different ways you can do it in Corel. One of them I prefer more than the other. The first one is going to Effects, Adjust, Hue, Saturation, Lightness. What this does is you can select like the color you want to change. The hue changes the color. The saturation changes the brightness of the color. So you can move your slider, and it'll show you what it'll look like. That kind of thing. Click OK. I don't really like this one because like I can only go so far this bar. Then I can click OK, reopen it, do it again. So I hit cancel. I prefer this one. I go to Effects, Adjust, Replace Color. And in this way, I can select, let's actually, it did that, so we're going to revert, where's Reset? Reset. So we'll select the color we want to change. Don't select the darkest version of blue or the lightest version of blue, select like the mid-range blue. And then you can select the color you want to change it to. And it handles a lot better. This image isn't the greatest to show this, but it's what we got to work with. So yeah, so that's how you would change colors. No, don't worry about changing colors here, because remember, when these screens all print out, it's only going to be, they're all black on the film. You would just, like if you were using one of our football helmets and it's like green helmet with a yellow mask, you would still just bring that one, import it in here, print it out, and then just whatever color you want the helmet to be, just use that ink color on your press. So that's pretty much it, folks, on how to use the artwork and everything in CorelDRAW. I want to leave some time here at the end. We got about 9 minutes left for any questions. If you guys have any questions about what you saw or anything like that, you can go ahead and type it in. While we're waiting for a question, I'm going to go ahead and bring up that code for your free month one more time so you guys can see it. You guys don't have any questions? That I find a bit surprising. None. All right, guys, if there isn't any other questions left, then, oh, wait, hold on. Got it. One came in the last second here. Each download counts as one. Yes, each download does count as one. Yeah, each version. Like if you download the digital version, that's 1 credit. If you download the print cut, that's another credit. Yes. Okay, next question is, how do I get your registration file? Oh, you mean the template that we were talking about there? Actually, like I don't know if it's available as a download on the website. If you've bought any of our training books, like we have the Adobe training book and the Corel training book, it would be on a disc in there. If not, you guys can just email through the site info Great Dane Graphics, and we can shoot you a version of it if you need it. You know, that's fine too. We can shoot one over to you. Oh, that we did not cover that real quick. There's one thing I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, I remember these names and these names up here, these colors I had up here. You actually want to fill those with the same colors as down here as well, because you want it to pop out like this red. Like I would click red, fill it with this red. So that way when the red screen prints out, I know which one's the red screen. Yeah, sorry about that. I missed that step. But yeah, just want to make sure you put these words, fill it with the same colors down here so that you know what films when they print out. Okay, next question is, what about printing an image on heat transfer vinyl? How do you align perfectly? Actually, we covered for heat transfer and vinyl. We talked about that in a different class. I don't know if those videos are available up on stahlstv.com right now, but we did cover print cutting and vinyl cutting class, so you might want to go check that out because it's handled differently than this. This is strictly screen printing. What's the monthly cost on it? There's 2 different plans because we also offer embroidery as well. The stock art and every other art is treated as one plan. It's $18.99 a month. The embroidery is $14.99 a month and $31.99 a month if you get the combination. The EP. That's actually a really good question. You have a laser etcher. Okay, you actually would use the digital file. You would use the digital file, and here's why: is because you need contrast. You need darks, lights. So what you would do, and this we learned this from a laser printer you used our image like many years ago, is you'd use the digital file. You're going to want to do it in Photo Paint. Open it up, make it a grayscale, and then invert it. We'll probably do another class on that one down the road. But yeah, that's the one you're going to use the digital, grayscale it, invert, and you're good to go for laser engraving. All right, give you a couple seconds here to see if there's any other questions at the end here. All right, well, I guess if there's no more questions, I'll pull the code one last time up here for you guys so you can write it down to get your free month. And thanks for attending the class, guys.